Thanks, Anne-Marie, for inviting me down. I was very pleased to come down. As was said, my dad is from just outside Carrick, so I know this area very well. Started off bringing in hay, and here I am talking about cartoons. So, but I love the idea of harnessing creativity because that's really what my whole career has been about. Is about harnessing creativity. I think it's a very intangible thing, creativity, and I often describe my job as the alchemy of making commerce out of art, because it's rare that you get the business and the art working together, and it's something that you've got to love, though. An awful lot of people can't say that looks like a great business, I think I'll try and get into that, and it doesn't work like that. You've got to have the passion in your heart. You got to love what you do, and then you figure out a business around it. And I think that's what's different from all the other business sectors out there. But I think many of us working in the creative sector, we bring an enthusiasm to our job that it's very hard to describe to people who don't work in the sector. And, I constantly say to myself, like, Jesus, I'm getting paid to make cartoons. I love cartoons, and the people working in the creative sector, it is very much a job hobby, and we're working in something that we love. And really, what I want to get across is there's no better time to have a Mickey Mouse business. But I set up Brown Bag in '94 after I got kicked out of college. I remember at the time saying to my parents I wanted to set up my own cartoon business, which was like saying you want to be a vegetarian. They were all from guards and prison officers, and it was just really. But that was 19 years ago, and in that journey, we have grown. We've a studio in LA. We've 125 in Dublin. We're actually recruiting at the moment. And unless you've got some four-year-olds at home, you probably don't know the shows that we work on. We do stuff for Disney, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, BBC, on shows like Peter Rabbit, Huggle Wugs, Doc McStuffins, Octonauts. Doc McStuffins has actually knocked Dora the Explorer off the #1 slot for the first time in 10 years. So I think it's about 10 million kids watch something that was made by us every week. So we really are, we're an Irish company by geography and not by mindset. Everything we do is very, very international. But when we started off, I just to make a note, because I know that the Leitrim Enterprise Board, and I think this is a great initiative. We started off, we didn't have a clue what we were doing, and the Dublin Business Innovation Centre were very helpful to us. They gave us some consultancy. They told us what to do, how to do a VAT return. They told us all these important things that we didn't have a clue about. And it really did help form up my thinking about how do I turn this into a business. So I think this is a wonderful project for anybody in the creative sector, and I do see a lot of potential coming out of it. Ultimately, this isn't rocket science, though. It's a lot of luck, and it's a lot of hard work. I think the barriers for entry have never been lower for people to get out, and especially in the creative space. And it's also, while it might be a very difficult industry to scale in, it's also a great business to bring internationally. So an awful lot of the companies in this space are trading internationally, and that's something that's really important. I think I just had a note there as well, just to say be careful what you wish for, because when your business does grow up, it becomes all about HR and monthly management accounts and meetings and all that kind of stuff, and you're kind of wondering, geez, what are we doing this for, So it is important to kind of remember why what your passion is, and it is sometimes hard as your business grows to that. But I think there isn't a better time to be in the creative business. The creative economy is a phrase that people don't speak enough of. The journalists don't speak about it so much, the economists don't speak about it. And if you look at what Ireland Inc. is good at, it's the creative space. Like, people in China and America and Brazil don't know that we have an Intel factory here or a whole bunch of pharma companies down in Galway. They're not aware of that. But they are aware of our musicians, of Riverdance, and of our animation. But it is a case that it is playing to our strengths, and I'm really encouraged to see the more focus and initiatives from government and the EU into this space, because it does make economic sense, as well as supporting something that's a core strength to us. I actually had a note there that I see the creative space as the harmony of left brain and right brain thinking, but I think in practice it's more a wrestling match between maths and art, you know. So it's like it's one of those things. But one of the strong things about this harnessing creativity project for me is the sense of network and community that it proposes to deliver, and I think that's one of the strengths in the Irish animation sector. We are now the second largest producer of animation in the world, and the Irish animation sector has grown, exponentially above all other sectors in Ireland. And you could say, oh, that's incentives, that's this, that's that. You know, at the end of the day, it's down to the people. And what we have done as a group, we have created our own network called Animation Ireland. There's a website, animationireland.com. And we promote one another, we share information, we talk to one another, we try and encourage one another to do deals with different broadcasters and so on. And it has positioned Ireland as one of the world's leading animation producers, and that's quite an incredible achievement in the last 10 years. Companies like Jam Media and Cartoon Saloon, and there's just so many to list. And there is that sense of co-opetition, and it does come from networking, and it does come from opening up and sharing a certain amount of information about your business with one another. Because I think people tend not to do that, but I always say, like, don't be afraid to leave your business plan on the bus, because only you can deliver on it. I mean, it doesn't really matter. So I think that to encourage the networking and to take advantage of all of that is just so important. And if we can do it in the animation sector, I think the whole creative community can absolutely achieve the same thing. Look, I'm not going to say too much. I can hear the tummies rumbling from here. I hope everybody in the room gets some Interreg funding out of this, and I do think that this is a great time to be a creative entrepreneur. Ireland needs entrepreneurs now more than any other time. And what a better time to be an entrepreneur in the creative space that's the polar opposite of finance and banking, you know. So I think this is a great time. I think it's a really encouraging time to be in this space, and anybody that's applying, I really wish you all the success with that. So look, I'll cut it short and leave it at that, and thanks very much for having me.